I wanted to be a real writer, but I couldn't bring myself to think myself a real poet. How many budding writers have had that thought? Especially when they're not like the mostly older, mostly male poets and more appropriate poets of the canon. That's what even rabble-rousing, award-winning, bring-down-the-house poet Staceyann Chin turns out to have thought, even as she starred in Russell Simmons' Def Poetry Jam on Broadway and on HBO, almost as soon as she arrived in the US seeking refuge from the violence of her homeland, Jamaica.
Out proud and one hell of a poet, Staceyann Chin. This is the Laura Flanders Show, the place where the people who say it can't be done take a back seat to the people who are doing it. Welcome.
Finally, so happy this happened, she was persuaded that it was time the world needed a real published book of her poems, Appropriate Be Damned. Crossfire is the name. It is just out from Haymarket Books. Heaven, thank you. Jesus, be glad. Stacyann, thank you so much for doing this and for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
I just heard you in the green room, and a young woman said, actually, I'm a poet. And you said, where's your book? You haven't had a book for 30 years.
I know. Guilty as charged. And still rather a reluctant published poet just now.
So what was the reluctance about?
It's many things. I mean, I grew up in post-colonial Jamaica.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Reading the works of T.S. Eliot and John Donne and such writers, and studying the works of, mostly male poets. And then I met Derek Walcott, who invited me to study with him, and I went and studied with him.
Also from St. Lucia, I think.
From St. Lucia, and he was is it Nobel Prize?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and he
celebrated. We say celebrated.
Yeah, he was a celebrated writer and poet, and he would say to me, "You really do have a talent with a turn of phrase. But you would be such a good writer if you would just abandon this feminist ideology and stop writing about your vagina." And he actually said something like, "Words like rape don't belong in a poem."
How many generations have been told that, do you think?
I imagine it's more than one.
But it affected you, even you.
Even me. I mean, it's so interesting how I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday, how my whole life I've been dukes up, ready to fight, loud, resistant. If there's a noise to be made, I'm probably in the middle of that noise making. And then when I was attacked on campus in Jamaica, when I came out as a lesbian and I was assaulted by some boys in a bathroom, the thing that stopped me from talking about it was not the thing itself. I mean, I'm sure I carried some shame about my own assault, but the thing that made me not say a word is my not having said a word during the attack. I was so ashamed of the complete turnaround from being so loud and so, rebellious and in your face, and I don't take it from anybody. And now, and I didn't say a word during that attack at all. I let them, do whatever they wanted to do. And I think I was so ashamed of that, because I had kind of built my identity on being a loudmouth, being a person who would hit back, a person who would always speak out, a person who would never lie still while 12 boys did whatever they wanted with my body.
And that carried through into your anxiety about thinking of yourself as a poet?
I think my work is so deeply informed by issues of being a woman, issues of living in a body tagged female at birth. My vagina is very present in my work. My the way that I experience the world as a result of having the ability to carry, you know, a human being into its own existence. And all the works that I had read, even though I understood the power of speaking out for women's rights, speaking out against systematic oppression, there was a way that poetry existed in my head as a thing of quiet beauty, a thing of grace, a thing of ethereal, philosophical meandering somewhere in the clouds, somewhere. They weren't, you know, visceral yawps delivered from stage, out from a place of pain and survival and, you know, shame.
So as you collected the work to put it between two covers, does it seem different to you?
I do not know. I mean, I'm still very... My response is the last I expected to have in this conversation. I am...
It brings up a lot.
You know, I believe in the work that I do. I believe it is necessary in order for us to survive. I believe that without these screams, without these marches, without this push towards you know, insisting that we exist and that we have been hurt and that we intend to keep breathing.
Yeah.
Without that, we are dead. And those who have cruelty at the center of who they are will win.
Yeah.
And I never, ever, ever, ever will allow that to happen as long as I have breath, as long as people around me who are resistant. And so I understand the power of that. But there's a way that the institutions given over to longevity and legacy, even as I understand how important my work is, I certainly did not take ownership of any of that institutionalized legacy as my own. In fact, I have lived outside of it and even like worn that as a kind of stripe that I'm outside of it. And so inside of it, I stand very like weirdly, you know, like Audre Lorde said, you are the only person who still carries a handkerchief.
Handy though.
Very handy of you.
Won't tap your nose.
Lots of weeping on the show here.
I love you so much, Stacyann. And I just have to say that I think I hear something that is so important, which somehow has to do with allowing yourself to be in a canon, you know, allowing yourself, your words to
allowing them to
exist
take these words that
out.
have been my own
Yep.
weapon
Yep.
and to lay it in a museum somewhere. I worry that it might be a kind of death for them.
Yes. Okay. Well, I don't think it will be, for one thing. 'Cause as far as I can see, you're not about to stop performing.
For sure, for sure.
I think there's an extraordinary future for people to be able to read your work. And your work is informed by people who, like you, stood outside of the academy, outside of a canon, outside of publishing, as well as inside it. And thank
Yes.
God they also stood inside it.
Absolutely, because I mean, all of my favorites, I never met them. I never met any of them, you know, the Audre Lordes, the June Jordans,
Pat Parker.
Pat Parker. I never had a chance to meet them, but they save my life every day, all day. And Toni Morrison just passed, and again, another one who left. And the only thing I have of her are these pages that she spat out and left before she died. So I understand I mean, and as a child, books saved me, you know, like I never knew who wrote them or what the importance of their lives were, but I read them to stay alive when like my life was so difficult. And
It's almost like, I mean, you've just gone through having a kid.
oh Lord, yes.
And you have beautiful lines in the book. There's a line in there, being a dyke, I'll make my own child. Is that one of your lines? Screw you.
It sounds, yes, it sounds like a young Staceyann, yes.
In a way, and so that you have a whole one-woman show about that experience.
Yes.
Maybe to be a TV show. Who knows? It's piloted.
We are working on that, and hopefully, hopefully it'll be exactly what we want it to be. This industry is a difficult industry to try to do work that is resistant and radical and
true,
authentic.
Well, so maybe having a child was good practice for sending your poems out into the world to be independent.
Yes. Yeah, I really do believe that this is a good move. I'm happy about them, but I'm also again ashamed of the fact that that's the reason I didn't publish, and for such a long time I didn't, and people kept asking like, publishers, why don't you just let us do it? And I kept no, they're not ready yet. Oh, I don't have the time. Oh. But at the center of it was that I maybe thought I wasn't good enough. And still not sure if I'm good enough, And that's okay, because courage is not acting without anxiety or fear. It is acting in the face of.
Regardless.
Yes.
Philippe Petit describes the wire walker that walked between the two trade towers, and people ask him,
yes.
Were you afraid? And he said, I was afraid, but it was a detail.
That's kind of fabulous. I think I'm going to use that from now on. I am afraid, but that's mere detail.
It's a detail. Well, I think the poems are extraordinary, and I do find them somewhat different from the performance. The performance is visceral, and we'll feel that on this show. But the poetry stands up. It's not dependent on the performance. I mean, some performance poets, naming no names, when you see the page,
don't name any.
It's disappointing. You realize, it needed the propulsion of the performance.
And I also worried about that too.
Not true.
Because they say that about...
not true in this case.
It's good to know, and that's a kind compliment. Thank you.
No, well, it's really true. I could go on and on. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's happening in the world? Do you want to talk about what you're doing right now? Because I know I've forced you to be super personal, and I don't want you to feel denied.
And weeping. Come on, Laura, stop it. I mean, there should be no weeping. This is all feminists, fists in the air, ready.
Well,
ready to take on this orange-headed.
I think we're in a period where if
snake.
we don't deal with the grief, we're not going to get the power that also comes from that.
Indeed.
If we're not feeling grief in this moment, we're just not paying attention.
I know. I mean, I oscillate, vacillate, swing between wanting to just being an ostrich and stick my head in the and say like, oh yes, I will just go over here and like use my Ziploc bags and my overpackaging and drive in my car that is using fuel that is draining the earth's sustenance. I would just do that and not pay attention to what's happening in the world.
But you can't do that because of Zuri.
And because the consequences for all of us will be catastrophic. I mean, and not far off. We hope to live like at least 4 decades. Like that's like within the margin of like disintegration. Right?
But you have this little person living with you.
And she might live to be at least 51, right?
You're laughing.
I mean, it's the kind of, I just saw The Joker.
I haven't seen it.
And it's this crazy, phenomenon of this man who laughs whenever he is like confronted with things that he can't make sense of. And I feel that way too. Like, and I feel like as a nation, as a planet, this is how we're responding to Trump.
Yeah.
I think we're all just sitting around, and because we don't want to put our forehead between our knees and hold our stomachs and then weep until we die, we laugh at how small his hands are and how inept his emotional, barometer is and how bad his grammar is. But the consequences are already catastrophic. I mean, what's happening in Syria, the G7 will be at the Trump national blah, 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 Doral, blah, blah,
Don't
blah.
worry, he won't profit, he says.
And he won't profit. He's assured us that he will not profit. He won't show us the figures.
Oh, funny.
But just trust him. I am struggling to find the words that will articulate this moment for us. I'm struggling to find a way to make sense of how we must respond to this phenomenon.
So what difference does Zuri make? And what about that beautiful YouTube series you have going?
Oh, she's such a pumpkin pie. I mean, I look at her every day and I wonder and I think to myself, oh, this is what you look like before you're broken. Like, my goodness, the thing is whole. It is beautiful. It's burning bright and pure. And it is able to weep without deeply informing trauma underneath. It giggles with tears still on its face. She is amazing. She's able to hold her boundaries, but still, you know, be kind. The last living room protest we did, she was talking about, I was asking her about this kid on the playground who said to her, I don't want to play. You know, she's a kid who flutters over to everybody and says, do you want to play? And then the kid says, no. And then she kind of flips to the next kid and like goes to, and I said, well, aren't you like sad? Are you unhappy about it? And she says, no. I said, aren't your feelings hurt? Because here I am, abandoned child. You know, if they tell me that I can't drink from that water fountain, or if I can't sit in this chair because the chair will break, I'm weeping because I feel rejected. And the kid is like, no, maybe he didn't feel like playing, or maybe he didn't feel like making friends today, or maybe he played a lot with his other friends and now he just wants to be alone. But you should just let people decide. And that was the end of the conversation. And this happened like out of nowhere. You can see me in the video going like, huh?
You're raising her a little different from how you were raised.
I think, you know, this notion of raising the kid, I don't know if that happens. I'm kind of just staying out of, I'm not doing the things that I know for sure will break her. So I'm kind of staying out of her way a little bit, just kind of letting her navigate as much as I can, as much as someone with all my trauma can. But I learned so much from her. I mean, I'm learning that you can be strong and fierce and be kind at the same time. Before Zuri's arrival, I wasn't so deeply aware of that as a truth.
Well, and you can be alive and a performer and a published poet at the same time.
Yes, I thought that, I worried that when she was born, and I thought everything about her was so cute. Her feet and her poop and her eyes and her fingernails. And then I worried that I wasn't going to be fierce anymore, that I couldn't find any anger. And then the first person who said something to me online about her, I wrote this like searing, like cuss him out thing. And I was like, okay, I'm just better at like channeling it now. And I'm able to find joy more now, I think.
Well, you can find that book that we can't mention the title of it in our broadcast here. You can find that poem, the title of which we can't say on the air, in the book. But before we end, we're going to let our wonderful friend Staceyann Chin perform a few pieces. Mm-hmm. What should we start with?
I think we should begin with Not My President. Let's get that out of the way, and then we'll follow that with In Those Years, and we'll do Words Like Rape, and then we'll finish up with Tsunami.
You're watching the Laura Flanders Show. Here's Staceyann.
Every time I step to a microphone, I develop an uncontrollable urge to shout, Donald J. Trump is not my president. And that's not just because I didn't vote for the fool, not just because he's become the latest tool members of the contemporary clan pull out from their modern day sheets to remind us of when their cloths covered this land with the brutal hand of white racist terror. If you have ever had to dress down some melanin challenge mother talking about all lives matter, raise your right hand and say amen. Amen. So you know exactly what I mean when I say Donald J. Trump cannot be recognized as no mother president. First of all, he's been on this planet for 70 years and still has the vocabulary of a third grader. Not to mention his mouth always looks to me like an incontinent ass that can't hold its own bull in, spewing the septic defecation of ignorance and discrimination, contaminating the already polluted air with inarticulate entitlement, steady providing validation for all them other white men who feel like equal opportunity for anyone else means that we are trying to oppress them. Donald J. Trump could never be my president because he began his political career by questioning the legitimacy of the first black president elected in a country built upon the hard-working backs of African Americans. He could never be my president because he had the gall to call for President Barack Obama's birth papers as if this were 1831 and he was one of them cruel white men free to grab any black body and demand documents. In the America we are currently fighting to create, men like that can no more lead us than can a predominantly white police force protect the black descendants of the very brown bodies they enslaved to gain the racial advantage they refuse to let go of, no matter how obvious it is that in America, race and opportunity are linked, like poverty and the prison system, like rape and a one's right to choose, like who has wealth and who pays the least taxes, like gerrymandering and who gets the right to vote. It's time poor white folks admitted they've been sold a 6 for a 9. This con artistry of race and sex and economy isn't new. Donald J. Trump is just another white knot in the noose they keep tying around the necks of the disadvantaged majority. Just another fairy tale they tell in the elaborate inheritance of lies they sell to anyone who isn't rich and white and longing for the good old days when racially cloaked narratives of nationality was the only history available to average Americans, fed to them to keep them from being woke, to keep them from poking too deeply into whose pockets most of the wealth that ordinary people work for from 9 to 5 every day in this country goes. Black people have had enough of this systematic bull. Between 500 years of unrelenting racism and the recent rise of this fake-ass, overtanned, idiotic orangutan, black bodies have got no more tears left to cry. We ready to try some next-level shit to resurrect some Black Panther, Angela Davis, Assata Shakur shit. I'm willing to bet the same is true for the rest of y'all motherfuckers. I'm willing to bet you know that things as they are unacceptable. Having spent my whole life fighting for better than this, I refuse to give deference to this walking, shameful evidence of what fear and prejudice and a little Russian interference can birth in a nation obviously asleep at the wheel of its own democratic elections. Donald J. Trump is not my president because his tenure in the White House is a result of unchecked sexism, a culture of rape, and the ever-present undercurrents of a newly emerging 21st century Ku Klux Klan. Donald J. Trump is not my president because he wants to disappear my Muslim neighbors, because he wants to deport Mexican-American families, because he fails to recognize that the only Americans who are not immigrant Americans are Native Americans. He is not my president because he sexualizes his very own daughter. He will never be my president because I want to demonstrate to my daughter that a man who boasts about grabbing women by their vaginas without their permission does not ever deserve her respect, no matter who he is or how rich he says he is. That even though that egotistical airhead masterminded and pulled off the greatest political coup in the history of modern elections, he remains nothing but an illegitimate, embarrassing burden I hope we won't have to carry for the whole 4 years. Every time I see this orange snake slithering around on my screen, I want to break the TV, rip it off the wall and let it fall from my 5th floor apartment. I wish I could just close my eyes and pretend that none of this is happening. But if we do not keep our eyes open, the consequences will be catastrophic. Every kind of resistance is necessary. When the arm of injustice persists, we have to develop new ways to resist. We have to keep trying. We have to keep changing tactics. We have got to find a way to impeach this mother. We cannot be discouraged by these political tricks of distraction. And it might take longer than we anticipate to get this off our TVs, out of office, and outside of our collective consciousness. It could take a year or 2, God help us, it could take another 4. But no matter how long it takes, we have to keep to the truth of what we know. This buffoon cannot lead us, so we cannot follow him to the sordid places he will have us go, no matter how normalized the actions of this incredibly imbecilic and inhumane administration. No matter how numb we become to what the news anchors say, you have to say something different to yourself. Donald J. Trump is not my president, has never been my president, will never be my president. You have to make that mantra. You have to say it to your fish, your parrot, your Republican counterpart. Say it over and over and over again to them. Say it, and one day when everyone else is listening, when everyone else sees that he is no more than a snake oil salesman, no more than a Cheeto-dusted Freddy Krueger invading every aspect of our lives, like all the great walls of divisiveness built before him, he will fall, revealing the yellow bellies of all those who brought him to power. And whoever is responsible, be it Vladimir or one of them funny-looking Trump children, whoever it is, that Iago mother will have to answer to the rest of humanity for this small-handed wrinkle in this bomba warp in time.
Stacyann, thank you so much. You can find clips of all of Staceyann's previous appearances on this show at our archives at lauraflanders.org, and a link to her new book, Crossfire, which is just out from Haymarket Books. You're watching The Laura Flanders Show.